So Jay Cutler came over from the Denver Broncos in a trade during the offseason, a league-high 20 interceptions. Who would have thought it before this season began?
Well, and that's been the Achilles heel for them, along with the struggles on defense and the inability to run the ball. He's had to force the ball down the field and has turned it over way too much for a team that thought of itself as a playoff caliber team.
Cutler out of the shotgun on first down and finds an open receiver, a gain of 9 to Devin Aromashadu, who gets a start today in place of the injured Devin Hester. Hester, you remember, had to leave the game against St. Louis last week with a mild calf strain. They were hoping he would be back. Keep an eye on Greg Olson, very talented third-year tight end out of Miami. And again, no Orlando Pace at left tackle. So Chris Williams starts over there for a second straight week. And Kevin Schaefer starts at right tackle. Cutler again to throw on second down, and this one incomplete, bringing up third down. Green Bay, statistically anyway, the #1 ranked defense in the NFL. B.J. Raji starts in place of the injured Ryan Pickett. A pair of rookies at linebacker. Brad Jones on one side. Clay Matthews leads him in sacks on the other side. And Charles Woodson having a Defensive Player of the Year-like season for Green Bay. On a 3rd and 2, they give it to Forte. And this stingy Packer defense drops him for a loss, led by Cullen Jennings. Out of the I formation, John Kuhn and Ryan Grant will give it to the latter, and he burst off the left side. One man to beat down the sideline, and into the end zone is Ryan Grant. A 62-yard touchdown run on Green Bay's first offensive play of the game. Footing, thankfully, no injury there for Ryan Grant. Bears going to run it, give it to Forte on first down, and a nice pickup for the second-year tailback out of Tulane. That's a first down out to the 37-yard line. Between the rookie B.J. Raji and the 6-time Pro Bowl center of the Bears, Olin Kreutz. Cutler swings it to Forte, and a nice tackle made in the open field by Jared Bush. Let's send it back to Los Angeles. Game break time. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Houston hosting Seattle. First play from scrimmage. Matt Schaub hooking up with Andre Johnson. 64 yards on the score. The Texans trying to stop a 4-game losing skid and stay alive with any playoff possibility. Leads at 7-0 right now in the first. Tom and Brian.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Of course, the Colts have already clinched a division championship, trying to nail down home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. And on 3rd and 11, blitz coming. Cutler in trouble, and he can run it. Across midfield, a flag is all the way back behind the line of scrimmage. And the Packers have been very good jumping on teams early and making the lead stand this season. Take it one way. Rodgers rolls wide open across the middle is the tight end Donald Lee. And let's check the rest of Green Bay's starting lineup today. You talked about all the weapons. We've seen Ryan Grant, a 62-yard touchdown run. Driver, Jennings, Lee, along with your Michael Finley, a frequently used second tight end. And that line starting to get it together. Much maligned early in the year, allowing all the sacks. Rodgers has still been sacked a league-high 45 times, but only 4 times in the last 3 games. Grant, another big run, dropped by Hillenmeyer, but not before he picked up close to 7. Chicago defensively. Ogunleye matched up this time with Mark Tauscher. You may remember he had 2 sacks in the season opener going up against Alan Barber. Lance Briggs back after missing last week's game. And in the secondary, Kevin Payne starting to play much better and back in the starting lineup, replacing Danielle Manning. Michael Finley in motion. They throw it the other way, and that's a first down reception made by Greg Jennings, his first catch of the afternoon.
You know, Aaron Rodgers, for my money, is playing as well. Now, I'm not big into fantasy football, Tom, because when I got fired, I didn't get fantasy fired. It was for real fired. But, and you know I'm not a big fan of the quarterback rating system, but the fantasy numbers do tell you some things. Look at the names on that list. That tells you Aaron Rodgers is at the absolute top of his game.
Brandon Jackson checks in the backfield. Rodgers looking deep to Jennings, and he's got it in the back of the end zone. No, it came loose. Boy, that throw was right on the money by Aaron Rodgers.
That one to me.
It's 1st and 5. Brandon Jackson cuts it back to the inside. He'll be a yard or two shy of a first down. Green Bay getting a 62-yard touchdown run on their first play from scrimmage from Ryan Grant and the 7-0 lead midway through the opening quarter at Soldier Field.
The balance of this Green Bay Packer offense is what strikes you when you get a chance to look at the field. The balance, the group, the talented skill group we talked about they can go to. And they have tried to keep the run up. They're not a great running team, but they do run the ball effectively.
Grant, who just eclipsed the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the season, adds on to that inside the 25 down to the 23-yard line. Coming into the game, Grant needed 269 more yards this season to join Amon Green and Jim Taylor as the only 3 backs in Packer franchise history with back-to-back 1,200-yard rushing seasons. Been a pretty nice find in the trade from the Giants.
Sure was, and that was a good trade for them because he's a solid back.
Grant again. Slips the tackle, but then stepping up to meet him is Nick Roach. Roach has played very well this year. Blitz coming. Rodgers gets it away. And a first down, very close to a first down reception made by Jermichael Finley, an emerging star on this Packer offense.
Now, Jermichael Finley is a tight end, and when they displace him to the weak side, opposite of Driver and Jennings, they're looking for the matchup. Who are you going to put on this big tight end? A safety, a corner? How big is that corner? And that was exactly what Aaron Rodgers was waiting for. One-on-one on the backside with this big tight end, matching up with whoever they want to put on him.
Grant to the 10. That'll be a gain of close to 3. Second down for the Packers. Trying to add to this 7-0 lead. And in the red zone, how good has Aaron Rodgers been? Wow.
Well, this is impressive because as we talk about many times, in the red zone, everything gets compressed. Decisions have to be faster. The opening or the window for a completion becomes even tighter than in the open field. And when you can do that to that level of efficiency, it backs up what we're saying about. I don't know that there's anybody playing any better than Aaron Rodgers.
Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Israel Idonije or Alex Brown, one of the two, got a paw on it.
Well, this is just a quick stab at a play fake right in here, trying to get the lineman to suck up down inside, but they're not having it. That's just a good job by Idonije coming to the outside, getting your hands up. Good instincts, good coaching. The minute you see the ball starts to go off, get your hands up, see if you can knock it down.
3rd and 7, 11th play of the drive. Rodgers dropped by Lance Briggs.
Chicago felt like coming in. They got 4 sacks in the first game. They felt like they could come in and run some stunts with their linebackers and their defensive lines to continue to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And here with a late blitz by Briggs, they get home to Aaron Rodgers. Got down. Well, I don't know that they didn't step on the other side of the fence after that loss to Green Bay or to Cleveland.
An interception by Woodson on a first down throw by Cutler. And he brings it back to the 38-yard line. A poorly thrown ball by Cutler.
Heck of a case.
See, the 44th career interception for Woodson. 27 of those 44 have come as a Green Bay Packer. First down carry by Grant. That'll be a gain of close to 9. And for Woodson this season, that is his 9th takeaway. 8 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. He has 2 sacks. He's their 3rd leading tackler and has 4 forced fumbles. How good has he been?
And it's been a rebirth for him here in Green Bay. Really become a true professional. And when people talk about him here in Green Bay, it's with great affection.
Amon Green, his first carry, took a vicious hit just as he received the handoff from Mark Anderson, a 3rd down for Green Bay.
And this is what Green Bay wants. Their efficiency on first down is what gives them these convertible 3rd down situations. They're 5th in the league in 3rd down conversion, and you have this shorter 3rd down distance to go. You're going to do well in this league.
Third and 3. Good protection this time. And Rodgers, for the first time in seemingly a month, missed a wide open receiver, Jermichael Finley at the 15. Packers 1 of 7 on 4th down attempts this year. Blitz coming. Rodgers will run for a first down. That's one of the overlooked parts of Rodgers' game. He is the leading rusher among all quarterbacks in the NFL.
You know, it was interesting, Tom, when we visited with the Packers. Here you're just going to see nothing down the field. Aaron Rodgers, who's got a great pocket presence, steps up, doesn't like what he sees, gets outside. And what's interesting, Tom, Aaron Rodgers dropped in the draft because people questioned his athleticism. And one of the things you hear now about Aaron Rodgers is how well he moves the pocket, what a good athlete is.
Grant to the 20. That'll be a gain of 3.
Ryan Grant's one of those guys that you love as a coach. He's got great body lean. And what I mean by that is a guy that keeps his pads over his feet, is always going downhill. Yeah, he may not crank off the big runs, but you don't get into a lot of 2nd and 12s, 2nd and 13s with Ryan Grant. He's always going to get some type of positive yardage.
Of course, he did give you the big one on the first play from scrimmage today, that 62-yard touchdown run. Amon Green, the all-time leading rusher in Packers franchise history, very close to another first down.
Yeah, this is just what you want as the Packer. Pretty good. Now, obviously, the interception leads to it. You get the extra series with regard to the Green Bay Packers, and that lack of efficiency by Chicago in terms of the turnovers, the penalties, makes it an awful tough hill to climb.
A tight end, 2 fullbacks, Green the tailback on 3rd and a yard, and Amon Green has a first down. Close to the 10. Just named the new head coach, of course, at Notre Dame, taking on the Florida Gators in what will be the final collegiate game of the great Tim Tebow. Let's check in back in Los Angeles. A game break with Kurt Menefee.
Well, sometimes you got to be lucky, and that's what's going on for the Vikings on this play at least. Bounces around and into the hands of Greg Lewis. He picks up 18 yards, led to a field goal, and the Vikings lead the Bengals 3-0. A thriller in the second quarter. Tom and Brian?
Kurt, thanks so much. Minnesota trying to go to 11-2 and get closer to nailing down the NFC North. The Bengals clinch a playoff spot. In fact, they clinch the division title with a win and a little bit of help later in the day. Cutler under heavy pressure throws it away.
You know, Tom, part of the difficulty for the Chicago Bears, when you're second to last in the league in rushing, you're not real effective on first down, so that leads to a lot of third and longs, and you're playing average defense. This has been the dilemma for Lovie Smith. You really don't have anything to hang your hat on, and so where do you go to? What's your strength? What can we rally around? And that's what I see as the biggest problem with the Bears right now. And if you can't get it up against the longest rivalry in all of pro football, I'm not sure when you're going to get it up.
Cutler with a 3rd and 8. Steps up, throws. There was contact there between A.J. Hawk and Earl Bennett, but no flag. Will shovel pass to Brandon Jackson out of the backfield and an effective gain of 9. Let's take a peek at some of the other games underway in the NFL. New Orleans trying to remain unbeaten. Of course, a good one, a couple of good ones. Denver at Indianapolis. Colts lead 14-0. And a very interesting game today in Minnesota, Cincinnati and the Vikings.
Yeah, and Cincinnati, as well as they're playing, they're not out of the woods yet. They better be looking over their shoulder. Baltimore might catch up.
And the Jets 6-0 leaders at Tampa Bay. No Mark Sanchez today. Grant picks up a first down to the Chicago 48-yard line. All right, going into play today. Week 13 in the NFL. Division leaders in the NFC. New Orleans unbeaten. Minnesota atop the North. The Cardinals out west. Dallas with an 8-4 record, although that certainly hangs in the balance in a virtual tie with the Eagles. The Giants only 1 game back. And Green Bay along with Philly right now the wild card leaders. Things looking good for those two right now.
Right now, but again, it's Packers are knee deep in the NFC East because that's what they are a part of right now, because that's where the wild cards are going to come out of. The NFC East and the Green Bay Packers.
Grant still on his feet, plows forward for a gain of close to 5.
Mike McCarthy has done what he has always done to start out a game. He's the classic West Coast. You see a lot of people rolling through the game. He's probing that Chicago defense. How are you going to match up against this personnel grouping, that personnel grouping? And now is at the point in the game where he's going to start dialing those things up specific to the personnel groups and the defense he thinks he's going to get.
Amon Green on a 2nd down carry. Dropped at the 41. It'll bring up a 3rd down and a long 2 for the Packers. Closing in on 9.5 minutes to play until halftime. And here comes some other fresh bodies.
Yeah, and what it causes the defense to do, it forces the defense to keep up with you. There's all these different things defensive coordinators want to do, but if I'm having to constantly adjust to the people you're rolling through, you get that sense that the offense is now dictating a little bit more than you want.
They run it on 3rd and 3, and the Bears up to the task. The first man there, the middle linebacker, Hunter Hillenmeyer. So for the first time today, the Green Bay Packers will punt.
This is going to be their left tackle of the future. And have to do it a little bit better than that.
1st and 15. And a catch made by Aroma Shadu. And he's out to the 23. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee. Game break time back in Los Angeles.
Brett Favre, Sidney Rice. It's a combination that's worked a lot of times for the Vikes this season, and it does here for a 9-yard score. And Minnesota's on top of Jimmy's upset pick. Cincinnati 10-0 in the second quarter. Tom and Brian.
For Cincinnati, the #1 scoring defense in the NFL this season. But trailing 10-0. That's pretty good defense Minnesota has as well. Cutler 2nd and 7 finds Bennett across the middle. And he's to the 28-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and less than 2.
And they've got to find, and we talked about Devin Hester being out of the lineup, which now Johnny Knox is one that has been shown a little vertical threat for him, but they need to find that shot down the field. Otherwise, you're going to fall victim to what you see right there, a whole bunch of punts.
3rd and less than a yard. And Forte able to spin away. He was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but stays on his feet and picks up a 1st down. And facetiously, the crowd at Soldier Field applauds the offense.
You get the sense that Chicago needs to maybe take a shot here pretty soon. I don't know. You saw the penalty to start the drive. Not a lot of efficiency right now. Not a lot of spark. They've got to do something. Maybe take a shot down the field to try to change the emotional complexion of this game.
Blitz coming. Cutler gets it away. Aroma Shadu very close to another 1st down. That's good hard running after the catch by the 3rd-year wideout out of Auburn. Green Bay thinking about a stop here and getting one more shot at it with their offense before the half.
If they hand off a draw or a screen, they may storm the gates here.
They're going to throw it. Cutler looking around. Fires to Johnny Knox, 1st down. And the rookie is to the 36-yard line.
All right, you've got to break. All right, now the energy's got to pick up. Get back into the huddle again. Maybe the place to dial up a vertical shot down the field. Take emotional control back of this game. Right now, it's all going Green Bay's way, but they're not just going to hand it over to you. Do something here to get the locals fired up.
Gain of 28 on the reception by Knox. They spot it at the 37, and again Cutler to throw. Look into the end zone. And nearly intercepted by Woodson. It should have been his 2nd pick of the day. That's just underthrown ball.
Yeah, he's got pressed man coverage, but against Charles Woodson, and I know the young man out of Auburn, they think some good things about it. Look at the technique of Charles Woodson. He knew exactly where he was on the field. He became a receiver at this point. I'm sure he's disappointed he didn't get the interception, but he was in contact with the receiver the entire way, knew exactly where he was and what he needed to do to break that up.
Forte. What a play by Woodson again. These are the kinds of plays. I mean, the interception, it's a highlight reel as Woodson is down. But when you watch a guy make plays like this, these are the ones that you say, how is anybody going to be the defensive MVP before this guy?
Now, they just went vertical on you. Now I'm going to transition to the run, give my body up to get the stop. Those are the things Charles Woodson maybe early in his career was not doing, because a lot of corners would say, look, I get paid to cover guys. I don't get paid to throw my body around. That's part of the transformation that has happened with Charles Woodson right now. And again, he's squarely my vote for the defensive MVP of the league.
Cutler on 3rd down, steps up and zings it across the middle. Aroma Shadu, that is the 1st down to the 17.
I want you to watch Jay Cutler in the pocket here. Right now, he's throwing what he sees. And Jay Cutler has, when he has the time, there's no one has ever questioned his arm strength. The difficulty is he can throw only what he sees. He sees the hole coming open. the anticipation of the receiver getting into the hole, they're not there yet. So he's having to hold the ball a little longer than you'd like, but there's no question he's got the arm strength to get the ball in there.
Empty backfield on first down, and Cutler sacked by Clay Matthews. 8th sack of the year for the rookie out of USC. Yards, 11 plays alone on this drive. And at the 2-minute warning, Cutler to throw to the end zone. No. Earl Bennett went into the air and appeared to get just 1 foot in bounds in the back of the end zone.
Throw like that is all about timing. It's about getting the ball early enough up and give the receiver a chance to come down with it in the end zone. We'll take a look here. Got 1 foot down. No, I'm not sure he had control. You saw the bobble near the end there. Not sure he had control of the ball sufficiently going to the ground.
Well, there is a challenge.
Officials there. 3rd and long for the Chicago Bears.
And of course, Cutler has struggled mightily inside the red zone this season with those 5 interceptions. What a throw here, though. And this is a touchdown to Johnny Knox. So Cutler comes right back and throws a dart to the rookie out of Abilene Christian to get Chicago on the board for the first time.
That's those kind of throws that only a handful of guys can make. Right here, Johnny Knox on the outside, just a fade to the outside. I'm not sure he didn't get away with just a little bit of a nudge late, just the subtlest of push-off.
Good protection. Donald Driver, a very short gain on first down to the 39-yard line.
And what Green Bay, like everybody does, they put their 3 receivers always to the wide side of the field. So they shuffle around, end up with 1 guy on the backside, because that's where all their combinations come from.
Rodgers sacked by Tommy Harris.
And this amounted to what amounted to a 3-man rush. Very frustrating in a 2-minute situation when a 3-man rush can get to you. They end up peeling back. They end up with 4, but the 1 guy kind of gets pushed off and spy back. It is a 4-man rush, excuse me, but just stayed active and alive. And you got 5 on 4 in a 2-minute situation. I know they can lay their ears back and go. Again, sacks have been the one lone nemesis offensively for the Green Bay Packers.
Play clock down to 1. Rodgers gets it off out of the backfield. It's Brandon Jackson. And he's very close to a first down. It looked like Green Bay had all but conceded.
Nothing out of court in America would convict you because of the consequences.
Spencer Hayden in motion. They pitch it to Ryan Grant to begin the second half. And he got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe picked up a half yard. Wrapped up by Anthony Adams.
The Chicago Bear defense, again, because of some of the injuries, has had to adjust and change the profile just a little bit. You know, the rushing here of the Green Bay Packers, that needs to be a priority, obviously, but their real strength is obviously throwing the ball down the field.
Second down and 10. They drop it off to Grant out of the backfield. Cuts it back to the inside. Boy, he looked like he'd be bottled up for a yard or 2 loss, and turns it in to nearly an 8-yard gain. That's good running by Ryan Grant.
And you can see what I was talking about earlier in terms of his pad level. You're right, he was bottled up there, but he was going to get something just by keeping his pads down the field. Look at the body lean I'm talking about now. He is a downhill runner right here. He's ready to take on the hits and get as much yards as he possibly can.
They called a gain of 7, so 3rd and 3. Show blitz, only a 4-man rush. Rodgers throws, and the catch is made by Greg Jennings, a first down to the 29-yard line.
And this is the familiarity of Aaron Rodgers and Greg Jennings. Here's that movement we talked about Aaron Rodgers in the pocket, feels a little pressure, keeps his eyes downfield. He and Greg Jennings, watch Greg Jennings here. He knew exactly where that ball was going to come. Receivers on the DB is on the inside hip. He knew it was going to fall away over that back left side shoulder. That's the familiarity of Jennings and Aaron Rodgers.
24-yard gain to convert on 3rd down. Ahman Green checks in, but Cutler watches as Rodgers will throw. It's in the air. Is that a loose football? It is. Rodgers bobbled it once, lost the handle a second time into the arms of Anthony Adams.
Now, is that 2 pass attempts? Because now he goes to throw the ball. It just comes out. He catches his own pass and tries to throw it up again. That may be 2 pass attempts, 1 completion, 1 interception. I got to tell you, that's one of the stranger plays I've seen. Nice heads-up play, staying alive. And now, obviously, Green Bay had control emotionally coming out. We're going to drive right down the field, take that emotion back from the Chicago Bears, and now they got an opportunity to do the same thing.
On 1st down, they give it to Forte. And he is stopped immediately by Clay Matthews after a 2-yard gain. Forte in the opening half, very quiet. Only 15 rushing yards, but the turnover, the first career interception for the big fella in the middle, Anthony Adams.
Now looking at him, is that a surprise?
No.
Did you expect this was going to be his 5th career interception? And he's excited about it, that's for sure.
Forte again, better running room this time, and he is very close to a first down. It looks like he got it to the Packer 46-yard line.
And Chicago committed to a large degree to this 2-back running offense. They're going to roll the tight ends. We talked in earlier about the depth and talent at their tight end core, but they truly believe in their fullback dominated run offense. They're going to put Mookie at fullback. The problem I have with it, predominantly a 2-back offense, unless that fullback is really a good athlete, you really become one-dimensional in terms of what you're going to do. You're going to downhill run, maybe play fake off of it. With the tight end, you have a lot more latitude, but they're committed, again, playing good defense, run the ball. I'm not sure they wouldn't be better served to roll those tight ends through, but right now they're moving the ball with their 2-backs.
So it was good enough for a first down. And Cutler surveys the landscape on 1st down. Short drop, quick throw. Aroma Shadu close to another first down. Aroma Shadu, his 5th catch of the afternoon. Came in with a grand total of 2 catches all year long. And for those of you just joining us, he replaces the injured Devin Hester in the Chicago lineup today.
And he and Knox both have the kind of speed you've got to respect, that when you get into a single coverage defense, you better back up just a bit.
Forte slips through a couple of would-be tacklers and has a first down to the 31-yard line.
We're getting in that area of the field for Chicago in particular. They may continue to run the ball. If they do throw the ball, it's apt to be off a play-action pass, because you need to move both the safeties and the linebackers, because why? As we approach the red zone, areas get reduced a little bit.
Looking for Knox, who came back to get it and makes a catch inside the 15-yard line. Step for step with him was Woodson, but then Cutler threw it behind him to come make the catch.
Just the same throw we saw on Green Bay with Rodgers and Jennings. He knew this was going to be a back shoulder throw. Looks like a possible arm bar by Woodson. Nice job. The nuance of that throw, that takes a lot of work. Jay Cutler checked to that. They brought up the 8th man in the box. He saw pressure one-on-one. You got to give him great respect for challenging Charles Woodson on one-on-one with a back shoulder throw.
And now the Bears looking for the corner, thrown behind the receiver again. That's a touchdown. Aroma Shadu. Beautifully thrown passes by Cutler.
Yeah, this is a beautiful throw, but right here on the matchup here, this is a great catch. This is hard to do. Yeah, it's back shoulder, but he has to fall away and almost lay himself out just a little bit and have the body control to come down.
Reception for the big fella.
Oh, that's not right.
Anthony Adams.
Give it back to him. What the heck?
Officially a fumble recovery for Adams. Ryan Grant on first down. A gain of 6, 2nd and 9. Weather really not a factor at all today. And a little bit of snow early in the week. Field conditions pretty doggone good.
Yeah, the field, I was down on it before the game. It was a little damp, but I don't think to the point where it's going to affect the game. They don't seem to be having any trouble with it.
Rodgers flips it to Grant. And what a tackle made by Kevin Payne. Hillenmeyer applying the pressure to Rodgers.
And when we talk with the Bears on Friday, you're going to see Hillenmeyer coming right from the linebacker position. But when we talked to the Bears on Friday, you got the sense they felt like they could get to Aaron Rodgers, much like they did the first game. And they have put very good pressure on the Packers so far today.
3rd and 10. Down the middle of the field, a first down reception made by Jennings to midfield. That is a huge 3rd down conversion for Green Bay.
And that's the sign of a good team, when you can overcome some of the early things that started in this drive. You find yourself on a long 3rd and long, and Aaron Rodgers, really kind of like a fall-away jumper off his back foot, is able to put in an accurate pass like that to Greg Jennings.
Grant for a couple of yards.
You know, I talked in the open, Tom, about as I had a chance to look at these Green Bay Packers, what impressed me the most was how diverse a group of athletes he had. You know, you look at these numbers and you look at the 2 tight ends together. These are their current numbers. They're on a pace to have 2 receivers and a tight end combo of being over 70 catches each. That's great diversity in a passing attack. That's a winning formula.
And they have a back that's rushed for over 1,000 yards. Donald Driver, who of course is the all-time Packer leader in career receptions, 2nd in yards to James Lofton.
And how impressed, Tom, I know you were like I was with Donald Driver when we sat down with him yesterday. We looked at those numbers about the diversity of the passing attack. Many times you're going to have receivers that are upset because they're not getting theirs. That doesn't exist. These guys just want to win, and the veteran Donald Driver sets the pace for that receiving corps in that way.
3rd and 4. Blitz coming. And overthrown is James Jones. He had beaten quarterback numbers nearly identical in terms of completions attempts. They are identical, 141 yards. But Cutler heating up his last two possessions. A couple of touchdown throws. And now a first down completion to the tight end Desmond Clark, playing for the first time in a month after injuring his neck.
You know, the amazing thing, Tom, we talked about, all the numbers said this was going to be a Green Bay blowout. They're where they're headed, the playoffs with the Bears. But we also said what? This is a long-time rivalry, and that rivalry is real for both teams. And right now we're talking a one-point game in the third quarter.
In for the first time today, the rookie Khalil Bell. And he's chopped down, but not before he picks up a first down. Let's send it back to Los Angeles. Second down and 8 for Chicago. Johnny Jolly able to walk off the field and appears to be okay. Romashadu with another reception. He has as many catches today as he's had in his entire career.
Now what Green Bay's doing, they've got 2 down defensive linemen in this game, and they're having to use Matthews and Jones on the outside. They're basically running a 2-man front, and they're having to put Charles Woodson at basically a Sam linebacker because of the injuries that we talked about to that defensive line.
So a third down and 1. Johnny Jolly back in the game. First down reception. Romashadu yet again. What an unbelievable day this young man is having.
I got to tell you, when I was going, and you know how I can mess up names, Tom. I know that's a surprise to you.
Well, I'm messing up plenty myself. Don't worry about it.
When I saw this young man's name and I saw he got 7 career receptions, well, I'm not going to have to worry about having to pronounce Romashadu because I don't know how much he's going to show up today.
Nice.
He's and I'm going to let you call from here on out. But boy, what a day he's having.
Khalil Bell to midfield on a first down carry. Romashadu came out of Auburn, was drafted in the 7th round by the Dolphins in 2006. They let him go before the season began. The Colts signed him to their practice squad where he spent the entire year. They brought him back the next year and then cut him. The Texans signed him, had him for all of 2 months, let him go. The Colts brought him back. And then the Redskins brought him on their practice squad. And for the final 3 games of last season, he wound up with the Bears. And here he is today, having a career day. Rashid Davis on the reception. That'll be a gain of close to 10.
Well, again, Chicago, we talked about Green Bay and Mike McCarthy rolling his personnel through. Chicago's doing a bit of it themselves now between the 2-back, the 3 wides, the 2 tight end. Here on a short yardage, they're 2-back, but they're rolling personnel through here themselves.
Bell, I'm not sure he got there.
Nick Barnett came up and just stuffed Bell right when he went to make his.
In the third quarter from Soldier Field in Chicago. And Rodgers to throw it on first down. And the catch made by Jermichael Finley across the middle. He's out to the 33.
Chicago beginning to ratchet up some of the pressure. Brought a safety off the weak side. Payne off that weak side. A lot more movement on the linebacking core of the Chicago Bears and the secondary. Trying to get Aaron Rodgers to pause a little bit in his decision process.
On a 2nd and 2, here comes that pressure. And Rodgers lucky to get it away. Lance Briggs on top of him as soon as he took the snap.
And you can see now, right now, Rodgers is having to hesitate a little bit. Coming off that edge right now. Rodgers not totally sure about what Chicago's doing right now. You saw hesitation on the secondary. You see a free runner like that, in this case Briggs, you realize, nope, there was a mistake. Someone didn't get the check or the audible that Aaron Rodgers had to go to because of the different looks that the Chicago Bears are giving Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers right now.
Four-man rush. Incomplete. Finley looking for a flag and didn't get it. In the opening quarter, this looked like a blowout in favor of Green Bay. But Cutler and the Bears on their final possession of the first half get a touchdown. And then a second in the third quarter to take the lead. We begin the fourth quarter on a carry by Forte, and he's out to the 30-yard line.
This is just a downhill, simple as a screwdriver ISO now. It's a nice move by Forte. Clearly not having the season that he had last year. His receptions are about the same, but the yards, he was a 1,200-yard plus guy last year. He's not going to get close to that this year, but still a good, smooth athlete that carries his pads very, very well.
Cutler has hit on his last 8, make it 9. Reception by Olsen and a good open field tackle made by Bigby. Pretty quiet day for Aaron Rodgers. Yes, 14 out of 21 for 149 yards. He turned it over on a fumble, has not thrown a touchdown pass. And we mentioned Cutler, now 9 for his last 9. And after an early pick, has thrown a pair of touchdown passes. 3rd and 5.
Well, we said third down was an area the Bears were going to have to improve on to stay with the Packers. This is a very convertible third medium for the Bears.
Blitz coming. Cutler gets it away, and it's intercepted. Streaking down the sideline is Nick Collins. So now Green Bay a golden chance to take the lead. A first down isolation to Jermichael Finley, and he's inside the 5. For Cutler, 2 more interceptions today. The 6th game this year where he has thrown 2 interceptions or more. And more picks with still 3 games to go than any quarterback wearing a Bears uniform since 1949. Wow.
And right now, he's regardless of how confident you are in your abilities, you got to be questioning things in your own mind. That's the crisis of conscience a quarterback will go through at any given time.
Rodgers to Driver. Flag comes in. Zachary Bowman was with him in the end zone. It goes against Bowman and the Bears.
This kind of late contact in the end zone. This is tough on a DB here at the left side of the screen. There's contact, you know, obviously the 5-yard rule is kind of off. You get this far down, but he stays tied up. Actually played the ball pretty well.
Yep.
But when you have your hands inside that long, I don't know quite what else you could tell the young man to do, but it's going to get called like that every time.
The 1st and goal at the 1. Grant to the end zone, touchdown.
Now's going to be the challenge for that Bear team here, just again straight downhill. Looks like, yeah, clearly his body, I'm not sure he ever got to the ground. He's laying on bodies there, so that's clearly a touchdown. Going for a 2-point play. Obviously the differential, you're talking about a 5-point differential. The chart, although you're not this late in the 4th quarter, a little surprised that go for it here, but the chart does say go for 2.
get to Greg Jennings.
Well, there's the field goals, there's a touchdown. Usually you wait until midway through the late of the fourth quarter to go to the chart to decide whether to go for 2 or not.
A first down carry by Forte, and he picks up a couple of yards. Well, a huge turnover again by Cutler. His second interception on the afternoon turned into 10 points. A field goal early, a touchdown a moment ago.
And they've got to look at Cutler, Jay Cutler specifically in this Bear team as an opportunity now to overcome that. How great would it be now to come back after that mistake, regain control of the game and the score? That's the attitude they have to have.
Being a 3 by Forte, so a 2nd and 7. And Cutler is sacked. Johnny Jolly, and a flag comes in. Did Jolly get a part of Cutler's face mask on the sack?
Personal foul, major face mask, defense number 97. 15-yard penalty in the spot of the foul, automatic. First chance.
And you can see here clearly he gets the face mask. The question becomes as Jay Cutler steps up in the pocket, Jolly coming in from behind, and now just a full grasp. When you see the face mask and the helmet jerk down that hard, it's going to be a major call.
That is now 16 personal fouls whistled against Green Bay this season, the most in the NFL. Cutler guns it across the middle. And was it intercepted? It was tipped into the air. And no, the ball hit the ground before Bigby was able to get his hands underneath it.
And this is where you get to the point, particularly this point of the game and this point of the season for Jay Cutler, where the confidence, I'm just going to keep throwing it in. That was a well-thrown ball, excuse me. Hit him right in the chest and the hands, pops out. Possible interception obviously doesn't happen, but you got to give Jay Cutler at least credit for this. He's going to keep chucking it around.
Oh yeah. On a 2nd and 10, he'll chuck it again. And a good throw here to Olsen, and that is a first down to the Green Bay 44.
And Green Bay has gotten into a bit of a passive mode in their secondary with the idea that, okay, go ahead and run the ball, throw the ball underneath. We're not going to give you that one big play to get it down the field. And they're very good at not giving up big plays, but they're going to have to go back to doing what Dom Capers does best. Keep changing these things up. Give Jay Cutler a different look, because if he starts to get comfortable here, all but late in the game, he can tear you up.
Bell ran in his own back. Bell drops it off for Jason McKee out of the backfield, and good coverage there and a tackle by A.J. Hawk.
They brought Charles Woodson on a cat blitz, and you're going to see him come off the screen. Excuse me, I got to get these arrows right. And a cat blitz is nothing more than a corner coming off the backside. You can see him show up in your frame right now. That's what caused Jay Cutler to pull the ball back down, because he wasn't sure whether his protection was going to hold him up or not.
Good protection this time. He had an eye on Olsen, and step for step with him was Jared Bush.
Little bumping and shoving going down late. I think it knocked Olsen off his stride. Jay Cutler thought he had him going down the rail there. Would have been a huge play if he could have dropped that in.
We're under the 10-minute mark to play at Soldier Field in Chicago. These two teams, including one playoff game, meeting for the 179th time. A great rivalry and a good game.
And I think you may be in two-down territory here, so we could see an underneath throw as well.
Blitz coming, they pick it up. Cutler fires over the middle. I'm not sure who he threw it to. The closest to the football was Tramon Williams. Ball a long way to play at Soldier Field. Packers in front 21-14. And they hand it off to Ryan Grant. He broke one for 62 early in the game. And a late flag comes in. You can tack on 15 more at the end of the play. Afalava, the rookie, hitting Grant, it appeared, after he had stepped out of bounds.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 24. From the end of the run, 15 yards, automatic, first down.
And as he goes down the sideline, there's a reason there's this huge white stripe on the sideline. That's for the players to be able to pull off a little tight. I mean, you're in midair. It's hard to pull it off at that point. But something like that happens when a player is in the paint. It's going to get called. Right or wrong, it's going to get called.
I still want to hear your answer as a former great offensive coordinator in this league, and all the points and big numbers you guys had in Minnesota before you won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. But you said, you know, Cutler thought he was going one way, Knox went the other way. How does that happen?
Yeah, that was a deep four route, and that's one of those routes. Yeah, you have latitude on some plays where the receiver, okay, if he does this, I'll do that. On a deep route like that, if you've got an inside cut, you've got to stay on the inside cut. He's going, you know what? He's going to beat me inside. I'll just sit back here and my quarterback will find me. And the quarterback's going, no, I won't, man. I don't have time for that. I got people breathing down my neck. I put that one on the receiver. Now, should have Jay Cutler forced it inside? That's a different question. But that's just not being on the same page as your receivers.
Rodgers across the middle, the big tight end, Jermichael Finley to the 25. In man-to-man coverage with Charles Tillman, and that throw right on the button.
They've been motioning Jermichael Finley all day across the formation and blocking him. Here now they just play action fake and bring him crossing the field. The Bears had stepped up to attack the run because that same formation and that same motion had been run all day. Nice play call by Mike McCarthy, setting up a big play down the field off the previous 3 quarters of play.
5 catches for 70 yards for the second-year tight end out of Texas. Back to the ground game, and Grant for 1. Well, you look in this NFC North, the young tight ends. Now, Shanko's been around for a while in Minnesota, but Finley with Green Bay, Olsen with Chicago, and the recently injured Brandon Pettigrew in Detroit. Some good ones.
And this is what you're finding out, you know, that you've got to have a dynamic tight end if you want to be a fully dimensional offense. And you're right, this is a great division for that. Each of those guys also now having to show that they can be a complete tight end and block as well as be receiving tight ends.
Grant just past the line of scrimmage. Tripped up by Lance Briggs, so a 3rd down upcoming for Green Bay. Grant, his 3rd 100 rushing yard game of the season. He's had 3 other games of 90 or more yards. It's his 12th career 100-yard game.
And half of that obviously coming on the one play to start the game for Green Bay, but doesn't belie the fact that they ran the ball well today, and that was a priority for them.
Dropped by Brandon Jackson. This season, that one would have put his team ahead by 10. Instead, it's a 7-point game. A.J. Hawk stretching that to the outside, and right behind him to make the tackle, Nick Barnett.
Well, obviously, just the play calling dictated that we were going to go for the field goal to make it a 2-score spread. You don't get it with the missed field goal. Mike McCarthy knows just how vulnerable that's going to leave he and his team, because he called down there in that position with this field goal attempt specifically in mind, and Crosby couldn't convert.
So now Cutler and the Bears get the football with 5.5 minutes left to go, and on a 2nd down and 7. That'll be a hold as plain as day. Forget about this first down pickup by Forte. Chris Williams grabbed a hold of Clay Matthews, and Matthews.
Personal foul, major face mask, offense, number 74, 15 yards, still second down.
Almost jerked his head off.
Yeah, on a screen play. He just got beat inside. You want to let the line come up the field on a screen pass, but not to the inside like that. Williams overset up top, got his hands on the face mask, and negated a big play. I don't believe Clay Matthews would have impacted the play even had he come clean. So just kind of a mental mistake on the part of Chris Williams.
Clay Matthews, the reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week, for his outstanding game yet again against Baltimore. A couple of sacks, a forced fumble. Certainly will get many votes for the Defensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL this season. Cutler, what a throw and what a catch. And are they saying a catch? No. It looked like Olsen had it, and perhaps the ground jarred it loose, but the officials all over it said incomplete. Of it all, you know, if you were gonna have a chance of losing a timeout, why wouldn't you throw that flag before you took the first timeout? Now on 3rd and 22, they lay it off for Forte, and he is far short of a first down, dragged down by A.J. Hawk. 2 minutes to play at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears with the football at their own 15, trailing by 7. And down goes Cutler. Back at the 6-yard line, a blitzing Tramon Williams takes him to the deck. Clock continues to run.
Classic Dom Capers defense, bring a corner blitz in the most critical of situations, leaving the Chicago Bear protection a man short.
Cleared down at 11. Short throw to the 15-yard line. Catch made by Knox. So now the Bears forced to go on 4th down.
He's really happy, and I credit, and he has, Green Bay, the people there, the people that have mentored him, just the whole environment that he exists now in Green Bay.
Our game today produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Rich Dewey. Our associate director is Charles McDonald. Our broadcast associate Bill Cullen, and our technical producer is Bob Muller. We thank up here in the booth Scott Snyder, as well as Tom Barbary. And the final second ticks off, and the Green Bay Packers are now 9-4 on the year. We have more to come from Soldier Field as the Bears go to 5-8